Vintage Hydroplanes. Gonna see the best wishes. Annie's Dodge, the Buccaneer. This is gonna be fun. We got 2 of our 3 boats away from the dock. We got Mr. Leach and the Buccaneer away from the dock. He is on the inside. And on the outside, leading up the backstretch, one of the first cab-over boats, one of the first attempts at putting a driver out in front of the engine. This is an extremely famous race boat. The big difference you're going to notice between those 2 boats going up the backstretch right now, the Buccaneer on the inside and Annie's Dodge on the outside. When they come by you here on the straightaway, you'll notice that the Annie's Dodge on the outside, cab over, driver sitting up front, but you'll notice the round nose on the boat. This is before the pickle fork design. And then when you look at the front end of the Buccaneer on the inside, you'll notice it appears as though the front end's been completely cut away. This was one of the first pickle fork designs, where you had the 2 sponsons sticking out front by themselves and the front round nose had been cut out, as opposed to what you see on the Annie's Dodge on the outside. Best wishes away from the dock. The boat formerly owned and driven by Bill Muncy roars away from the pit area here. So with 3 minutes and 17 seconds before the start, got 3 of our most famous vintage hydroplanes of all time out on the water. Doug Whitley is behind the wheel of that 3rd boat through the corner down there. That being the Best Wishes. 2 minutes and 53 seconds from our start, and Doug wants to let everybody know we're here. So as those guys were cruising slowly up the backstretch there, I don't know if Doug was maybe afraid they didn't know he was there and just wanted to run up between him and say, hey guys, I'm here, leave me a lane. But they will definitely do that. So you got John Leach on the inside driving that E101, the Buccaneer. Told my son, who's here with me this weekend, as we walked through the pit area last night, I said, go stand alongside this Buccaneer. You can spend a couple of minutes reading everything it says on the cowling, from world straightaway speed records to lap and heat records. A lot of history out there. And when these guys get out here, take your eyes off of that Annie's Dodge on the outside coming through a corner. This thing really leaps and jumps on the corner. And Doug Whitley having a good time in that boat number 222. Doug's out of Marysville, been very, very active in the vintage division of the American Powerboat Association. 1 minute and 50 seconds to our start. And you see John Leach slowing down as he gets down into the lower corner. These guys, even though we're putting on a show here, he wants to time his start, and he figures he's a little bit early at 1 minute 35. So they're going to cruise slowly through the corner. Mr. Whitley comes off the corner down there. He leads everybody in that more conventional hydroplane. Again, what we talked about before, conventional versus cab over. Doug Whitley sitting behind the wheel of that boat known as Best Wishes, owned and driven by Bill Muncy back in the day. Annie's Dodge, there's the 1 minute 10 second mark. David Kancianich behind the wheel of Annie's Dodge. When they get up and come down to the front straightaway as a kid growing up, the one thing I remember most about Annie's Dodge was when that boat got straight and they finally got it around the corner, because it was a handful to get through the corner, and it still is. But when you put the hammer down in that boat, the rooster tail stood straight up on that boat, and it was one of the most fun boats to watch run around. That being that boat on the outside, H25 Annie's Dodge 2, one of the last of the Division I 7-liters from the 1970s. Now you see Mr. Leach on the inside of the Buccaneer start to pick up the speed a little bit as we're to 25 seconds before our start. These guys are going to do a good job. They're going to come down here and be right on time. Buccaneer in 1, Best Wishes with Whitley in 2. On the outside, Kancianich driving the Annie's Dodge. We're 10 seconds to the start. Put the hammer down, guys. Let's go boat racing. Here we go. Rooster tail start to go. We are 2, 1, mark. turn him loose. Guys doing a good job of keeping them together down there. Now we'll see just how hard they want to run through this corner down here and then down the backstretch. Again, keep your eyes on that boat on the outside, at least on one of these laps when you get a good look at it, because that boat is a bucking bronco through the corners, but once it gets straight, I think you'll be able to see the rooster tail off that Annie's Dodge, even though he's on the far outside. Buccaneer with Leach on the inside. Look at Whitley take off in that boat that was formerly driven by Mr. Muncie back in the day. John Leach is going to get to the exit pin of the corner here first, but you see Doug Whitley right there on the outside, who one time was the president of the vintage division of the American Powerboat Association. He out of Marysville, Washington. Look at that boat's fishtail when he comes off the corner. Said it before a little earlier, we'll say it many, many times this weekend. For those of us of a certain vintage, this just takes us back to our childhood. There's nothing better than this right now. Cancianich trying to pull up and get into the action here, and Annie's Dodge on the outside, but Doug Whitley and John Leach are making it pretty tough for him to catch up, because they're putting on a great show as Whitley says hello to the Buccaneer and heads by on the outside. Green flag still hangs here on start-finish line. They will come down to complete lap number 2 with 2 more to go. Again, they are racing, but they aren't. This is all about an exhibition here to put on a show for you. Oh, holy Toledo! John Leach could have put his hand out and touched the buoy as he went by. He was right on top of it. All right, lap number 3 of 4. John Leach running pretty hard, but Doug Whitley on the outside out of Marysville running that best wishes, and he says best wishes right there to John Leach as he goes by him. You guys are putting on an outstanding show up there. Dan Cancianich just kind of let him go in Annie's Dodge. We're going to see our race chairman, Tim Hamilton, behind the wheel of Annie's Dodge before the weekend is. I tell you what, these guys get pretty close together up there. Leach is just painting buoys up there. Not bad at all. Buccaneer and best wishes come down. White flag, 1 to go. When they get to the exit pin of the corner, that best wishes and Doug Whitley, it kind of fishtails when he comes off the corner there. He's getting a pretty rugged ride in that boat right now. John Leach looks like he's just cruising in that Buccaneer. So here we go, lap number 4. Not really racing, but don't tell those guys, having a lot of fun. You talk to any racer in any class and they'll talk about a competitive experience, and all they really want to do is go out and run side by side with somebody. They don't care at what speed or for what position. Oh sure, they'd like to be out front, but it's the competitive experience that they really want. And even though these guys are not racing, they're putting on an exhibition here. They want to run side by side. They're having as much fun as Leach paints another buoy up there. And then you see, look at this fishtailing coming off and best wishes. And this is going to be really close. And Doug Whitley says, we're not racing, but doggone it, okay, we're not racing, but I still want to win. And he did. So he got across start-finish line first. A very, very good run. Dan Cancianich is going to come down now, or excuse me, Dave Cancianich is going to come down here, puts the hammer down one time in a very famous hydroplane, Annie's Dodge.